Hey, welcome to Instant Reaction. It's the Blue Jay Banner post game show, the original Creighton post game show. We are live on the YouTube channel. Thanks for following us. Thanks for finding us. Make sure you hit a subscribe button down there. It helps us out a lot. Also, hit the like and share buttons to spread the word to all Jays fans because we got a lot more games. Like we got 8 more games left. So come on, let's go. If you want to join the fun and join in commentating and give us your thoughts on the game tonight. Very simple. Down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the email to send an email to. Jeremy will send you a link, and boom, or excuse me, Zach will send you a link, and boom, you're on. I said Jeremy because Jeremy Howard, our recruiting analyst at bluesjbanner.com, is joining us tonight. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Doing well, Tim. Tim and Zach, thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it later. We'll get to that part later.
Okay.
So anyway, big win for the Jays. I want to say, probably against a middling, decent opponent. That was probably one of our better games we've had in a while. More complete games. What do you guys think? Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with any of the starters tonight. I thought they all played very well. They all contributed. I I was kind of wondering, if Villanova was just pressing because they were so impressed with Kluma's dunks, they wanted to see some more. I didn't quite understand the full court press with 20 seconds left, but to each his own. Um, one of my mock selection buddies goes, "Wow, I can hear the crowd chanting an ID at Villanova," which I can hear too, which I thought was pretty good. And I said, you got to understand, we're kind of sick and tired of for the last week to 10 days hearing about how Villanova is going to race through the Big East tournament, which I said from the very get go, that is a bunch of crap. It won't happen. And thankfully, I was right for once. Yeah. You know, we had a terrible game against them the first time. We played terrible. Okay.
They were hot. It was pretty
Yes.
bad defense.
He shot 75% from three. Tonight, you saw what he was, even though he got hot late. That's what he is normally from the outside. He's Clank City. And Kalkbrenner dominated him inside. Just dominated him.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it a lot on the message board going into the game or into the last game at Villanova. I mean, even from a fan's perspective, like it just felt, a big bummer that Marquette was able to pull out that win. It happened late, and then you got to go to Villanova, the following Saturday.
Yeah.
Our antennas were all up on the board, fans and everything were worried about that game. Creighton came in as a small favorite, and, they just kind of ran into Dixon had 28 or something in the first
31.
half. And,
the first half.
In the first half, yeah. I mean, he had.
Why does New Mexico wear green jerseys? I've seen it twice now.
I've got nothing on that.
I mean, their colors are red and gray. Like, yeah, it's got to be some. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's obviously not working for them.
I don't have that game on. Is it like a turquoise color?
Yeah, no. The last time I saw them, they were. Yeah, this one's kind of. Yeah, it is kind of a turquoise.
I would guess it's something with like Native American coloration.
Maybe that could be. But I want to say the last game it was more of a green. Maybe I think it was white and they had some green lettering or something. Maybe it just looked like a Kelly green. Well, it's not working for them. They're down 10. They're down 10 off the get go. So
I've got Arizona State and USC on the
yeah, I'm flipping back and forth. By the way, our sponsors, Equitable Bank, we take bank courtesy of the Bank of Blue Jay Banner. Make them your bank today. West Pacific Dental Group and Dr. Robert Hogan. They give you complete and total dental care, affordable price. They're the best. And our third sponsor is Infusion Brewery. Right here, I'm drinking the Walk On, the red ale tonight in honor of another Blue Jay victory. Cheers. Uh, yeah, it was just an all around great performance. There was a couple little spots where they cut it to 9 there, and I had people text me, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, the sky is falling." I go, "We're still up 9 points. Relax." Um, the question was posed to me, Jeremy, and since you're kind of running the board lately, I would like to pose it to you. The question was, oh, I guess it came from you, so I can't ask you, can I? Will they give Mac credit for a good coaching job since they rip him all the time for what they perceive as bad coaching jobs?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, and that's just the kind of the MO of our business, and the message board is, we get it, fans, short for fanatics, and people are not shy about jumping on a proposed game plan if things don't look well, and that certainly happened at Villanova. We got Dixon, I think, was, like you said, 6 of 8 from 3 and had 20 plus points in the first half, and it was just because Mac wanted him to get that. It wasn't anything else. And then tonight, Dixon, I think, had 2 points in the first half and was a non-factor in the game for the majority of it. I think he ended up with 20 or so at the end, in garbage time. But we were joking with the text message thread that people are quick to get on the game plan if it doesn't look or go well, and then usually crickets if it does go well. That's expected, and that's how it's supposed to work.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what bothers me. I understand fanatics. I get all that. This is Greg McDermott. He's been doing this how many years at Creighton now? And how many years have you seen him 2 games a year? His game plan kind of, I don't want to say it backfires. It just doesn't work out. And we lose a game. Okay. 12 other times he comes up with a brilliant game plan and it wins us a game even when we don't play well. Okay. Did anybody think that he didn't have an adjustment in his back pocket tonight? And he certainly had it on the offensive end. We had a little bit on the defensive end. There was a couple times where Hulk dropped real quick and Trey or Kaluma flashed over to Dixon. But for the most part, it was just a matter of Hulk going out further tonight. And Dixon missed his first couple, and then he quit shooting. Because Villanova, even Gus Johnson was criticized. Villanova's been criticized by their fans of taking too many threes. And one guy who's been missing them all season long, Caleb Daniels, tonight started to hit him, of course, against us. But the offensive game plan, I think, was great. Jeremy, share with what you were discussing with me on the offensive game plan. Something, a little wrinkle they threw in.
Yeah, and to be fair, I didn't watch a ton of the last picked off, and the Nebraska game where they launch up a bunch of threes that are open on the backside of that defense. And tonight I saw early, noticed it quite a bit, where they, if they saw someone fronting Kalk, tagging on the backside, Kaluma in most cases was flashing to the high post, and they were looking for that high-low. And if they didn't get the high-low, that would open up, quite a bit on the backside as a skip pass and maybe an open 3 for Trey. Hit a few early. But, I hadn't really noticed that a bunch, earlier in the season where they were, Creighton was looking for that high-low quite a bit. And tonight I think it was, pretty obvious they were doing that early.
Yeah, and Coach Huss brought that up. He said, "Hey, after the last game, the DePaul game, he brought that up. He said, "Hey, we've got some things in our pocket for them. We're gonna make them decide. We're gonna make them make some choices." And I think that was it right there. You noticed. Then they went away from that when Trey hit those threes. They went away from that. Then they went single Kalk for a while, and then Kalk killed them to that. So
yeah,
we kind of got it going our way, what we wanted them to do, and that's a huge difference.
The other thing too, that 3-quarter court press they put on quite a bit. You know, mostly just to disrupt offense and run some time off the shot clock. I think it was the first or second time they ran that. We got a dunk on the backside.
Yeah.
And that pulled them out of that for, quite a while. And I know you talked about that earlier, Tim. It's like someone's going to press you. You want to make them pay for it. And I think they did that early and caused Nova to go away from that until they got into scramble mode at the end and had to go to it a little more.
Yeah, and I thought we did a really good job against the press tonight. Really good. I mean, better than we have lately. There was a few times there where we really struggled against the press, but I thought tonight we did an excellent job getting it up the side quickly. And then Baylor made some nice cross-court passes. The guys that were open. And that really opened up things. By the way, so if you want to join us, just jump on the email down below, BJB Instant Reaction. Send us an email, and we'll get you on the show. Jays win. I'm waiting for you would think Rob Anderson is there. Usually he gets this to us fairly quickly, the final stat sheet, but the official final stat sheet, but we haven't seen it yet. But anyway, Jays moved to take on Xavier. And somebody just texted me and said, man, sure been great to see DePaul win tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching that one with some bated breaths.
Oh, man. They just ran out of gas. They gave up so many offensive rebounds at the end of the game. They were just dog tired. But at the beginning of the game, my God, they couldn't miss. I mean,
yeah, Umoja Gibson had a huge game. Then he got into some foul trouble.
but people haven't talked about enough that this is only the third game DePaul has played in the Big East with all their pieces together. So it was the first night they had it. You could just tell they were a little disjointed and they threw up some bad shots and so forth. But I'd like to jump on a topic you guys brought up.
While
Cam
we're still
Whitmore.
on that one, we did have a question in the chat.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Tim, how are you feeling with Creighton playing a Xavier team that barely beat DePaul tonight? Obviously, they don't have Fremantle, but if the Jays stay with their game plan, this commenter feels great.
I do, too. I like it. Because we were chatting, they expended a lot of energy tonight. I mean, that takes a lot of energy to make up. You're down double digits with 7 minutes to go. It takes a lot of energy to come back and win that game. They expended a lot of energy. And like Miller said, they rode Jones tonight. They rode him hard. The other thing this does is we always got in a conundrum like, who do we put on Fremantle? Who do we put on Nunji? We don't have to worry about that. Secondly, we just played a team whose center pops out and shoots threes. Perfect. That's the game plan. Now, what we do have to do, we have to control Jones. We also have to do a good job on Boom. I think we did a pretty good job on him the last time we played him. And if you remember after the game, Sean Miller said, hey, they're the best team in the Big East defensively, and it's not even close. And here's why. And, so I'm sure they maybe looked at a little things that DePaul did tonight. And, so on the offensive end. And then, I think we just play our solid defense. Look, Xavier hasn't played good defense all year. You look at some of their games, they gave up a lot of points. And they had some clutch defensive possessions against Nova when Nova beat them in Xavier that they just didn't play very good defense on. So I like our chances. I really do. And let Marquette and UConn just beat the living crap out of each other.
For what it's worth, Mark Titus did have the semifinals totally correct, and he had UConn Creighton in the final when I watched him go through his conference tournament brackets today. So
I know when I talked to him in Maui, he was pretty impressed with Creighton. He thought they're a potential Final Four team. So I know he's pretty high on them. Yeah, I saw a lot of people have us. It was like the average basketball commentator guy that doesn't do a deep dive into it. They were all like, "Oh, Villanova's going to race for the Villanova's going to win the Big East. Oh, there's no question, Ah, man, I guess they didn't watch the first 20 games because even with more back, they still have some of the same problems. Segueing into Cam Whitmore, you guys mentioned Cam Whitmore not being in the game.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed it. Probably 8 minutes left to go. I was like, "Where is Cam Whitmore?" I couldn't even see him on the bench, and I was noticing. I was like, I can't remember even seeing him in the second half.
He was in the second half because he got a foul early on it might have been on Kalkbrenner actually. I can remember. Yeah, I think he got a foul on Kalkbrenner early in the second half. I'd like to take a look at the box scores. Do they have minutes on these I don't think they have minutes on these yeah, they do.
Yeah,
23
I don't see it
minutes.
yet. There you go.
23 minutes. So yeah, he was in that first shift in the second half, and that was it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like kind of headline news in Philadelphia, right? I mean, what went on there? Like, was he that disappointed with his play? I know he jacked up some wild threes, like you said, Jeremy. He has a tendency to do that. And he was making hay on Schreierman down low twice in a row.
That was it. He finished two of 7 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3, 6 rebounds and 4 points. So, right when we said he was able to get Shireman, a few times, that was it. Those were the only 2 times, and then, I think like most freshmen, shot selection comes into play, and he missed some bad threes where it's kind of out of rhythm, and just really quick trigger.
Well, he's been a. I mean, everybody says he's a first round draft pick. I don't know. What do you think, Jeremy? Tell him better than me. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean that it's all the projection stuff, right? I mean he's a freshman. He's 6'7", so he's got good size. He's averaged double digits, and looking 13 points a game, 5 rebounds. So that type of stuff. He was a highly ranked recruit coming out of high school. Whether he goes this year and goes into the first round or gets drafted at all, who knows? I don't know that, but just kind of all those things that, good size, good projection.
Yeah, I know.
Highly ranked recruit, and was, semi-productive. I think he kind of held his own.
I mean, to me, when you're playing them, there's several other guys I worry about a little more. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
He's not that dominant player. He should be probably, but he's not. Well, let's. I mean, they showed the stats a lot on the game because they were so impressed that we had 5 starters in double figures, which we oftentimes do. But Kaluma had 18. That was a quiet 18, wasn't it?
Yep. Very quiet. I think
18.
a lot of
He only had 2 rebounds. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Zach?
I was just gonna say he did his thing where very, very quiet until there's about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
He made a couple threes and then made some free throws at the end.
Yeah. Kalkbrenner 21 points. Only 3 rebounds? Is that possible?
Yeah, I've been watching this a lot, and it's because what he does is he boxes out, and then either Nemhard or Baylor will get the rebound. He just boxes out as hard as he can. One of those guys gets the rebound, and they just go.
Just seemed like he had more rebounds. That's me. That's all. Trey with 13. Actually, after those first 3 threes, Trey was pretty damn quiet.
Yeah, he just made 4 free throws in the second half.
His mid-range game wasn't there tonight. He tried a few, and he was only 3 of 9 from the field. So
Get to that
3 or
Baylor
5
Shireman stat line. I want to see you react to that.
Yeah, Baylor Shireman. Hit 12 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. He should have had a 10th assist.
Yep.
Who did he feed it to in the corner? Was wide open. Who
Farabello
was that?
I think it was Farabello. Was it
Well,
Farabello?
that's a good.
in the
That's
first
a
half.
good. That's a good guess, but it
I
was.
just remember
Someone-
I
him
think it was
relying on the
actually
wide
Someone
open
else
Nemhard.
three.
I
missed a
think.
wide open three. Yeah, someone else. I think it might have been Trey missed a wide open three too.
Yeah, it might have
where
been.
you could,
Yeah,
measure
that would have been
the
triple
wind with
double.
your finger.
How freaking great would that have been? A triple double in your first game in the Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden. That's something you would remember for a long time.
And that the comment about a quiet game from Art, that's a good thing. I thought he really played within himself tonight. And you saw it right away
Yeah.
from get go, pump fake, got towards the lane and made a little pocket bounce pass to Kalk for a dunk. Was the first 2 points of the game. To get us to the next 2 points of the game, he hit a little mid-range turnaround jump shot. It just, when it's a quiet, whatever, productive from Art, that's a good thing. And so many people get on him about trying to do too much and getting dribble happy. I thought he just really let the game come to him tonight, and it kind of reminded me of the postseason run he had last year against Providence in the Garden, and of course against Kansas in the second round, where he just kind of people had all these projections of him doing really, really well this year, and tonight's game kind of reminded me of that.
R2 had 17, 5 assists. He had 4 turnovers though. A little disappointing. A couple of them were late when we were just running the clock out though.
I think we might have had one at the first half.
Just one, yeah. Just one turnover. Yep.
Really, really did a good job with the turnover battle tonight. And yeah, like you said, got a couple sloppy late, but overall pretty dang good and not turning the ball over.
Well, if you guys can discuss something really quick, Jeremy, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just I was gonna say overall thoughts on the Big East tournament so far. I know we touched on DePaul Xavier.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, St. John's Marquette.
Oh,
that was another crazy one too.
It was.
I think St. John's didn't make a field goal in overtime. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then,
I mean, Marquette really stunk up the building the first half, right? 26 points. I think Kolek didn't score at all. And then they came out of the second half similar to how they did.
Yep, I was
to
just
us
about to
to
say.
us in Omaha, and kind of blitzed them and got back into the game. And sometimes a lot of these close games, whether fans want to admit it or not, or it comes down to sometimes some luck. So I thought Marquette was pretty fortunate to get out of there with a victory. From St. John's. St. John's had a couple good looks from three to end the game. There's one where Oso was inbound the ball, threw it away. St. John's came in the front court and then turned it over to. So, it's just one of those.
They had a lot of chances.
Yeah,
they had a lot of chances to win that game. They did.
And Shaka said that after the game. He said he thought his team looked a little tentative or tight based on the awards they got. Coach of the Year, Kolek got Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year. They got all these awards and came out, and St. John's really was the aggressor to start.
Man, I'd be shocked. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
No, just here was a bracketology question for you that we got.
Sure.
Obviously, the podcast is focused on Creighton, but how do you feel about Marquette being a 2-3 seed?
Marquette's not going to get to the 2 line. The committee came out today with a video. They've already seeded their 2s, and they said it was almost unanimous. Yeah. So us bracketologists are kind of thinking that's Alabama, Houston, Kansas, Purdue, UCLA, Baylor, Texas, and Arizona.
But as far as performing on that three line as well.
I mean, it's all about matchups, right?
Yep.
They should get by the first game, and then second game will be a little more difficult. But it's time for Coach's Corner.
How are you doing?
And we have the lovely Mr. Jeff Vanderloo join us tonight. Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks a lot. It was a well fought game.
Yeah, we were just talking earlier. You know, we obviously hit these last two games, regular season games, were pretty good performance, but against a quality opponent, that was probably one of the better performances we had in a while. I mean, all across the board.
Yeah, especially against a good team. I mean, we put up almost 90 points against those guys tonight. That's a good outing against Villanova. They don't give up 90 very often.
What kind of adjustments did you make from the game just a couple weeks ago?
Well, I think yeah, a few of the adjustments we made a couple adjustments against the press, and then we had the way Ryan guarded Dixon a little bit. We were a little bit we tried to help him out so he could get outside on the perimeter against Dixon. Dixon didn't shoot it tonight like he had, last game.
Oh, sure. Well, he was 6 of 8. Okay, that's not his norm. He's 30%er. That's what he is.
Right. No,
so
no,
he shot it more tonight, more like he normally does.
Right, and that's I mean, we knew all along if we could get him to shoot what I would call chalk, that we'd be fine. But we couldn't let him go off like we did the other night.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, he did a great job on that. Unfortunately, on the flip side, that a guy who's been just hasn't had his shot this year, Daniels, and tonight he was on tonight.
Yeah, both him and Slater really shot. Slater shot the ball well too. We weren't. I don't want to say we weren't worried about him, but that was where we were going to help a little.
Yeah. I thought Art played really within himself tonight. Had a really great all-around game.
Who's that?
Art played within himself
Art,
tonight.
yeah.
Took away what they were trying to do defensively early.
Right. We wanted a lot of movement out of Art because then his guy can't sit in there, and so it's cut. Whether he's cutting or whatever. But yes, we definitely talked to him about just making sure that he was more active.
And then, as long as they're going to keep pressing, Art has a chance to do some, 360 dunks.
Yeah, that was kind of the icing on the cake because that was really nice.
Well, I'll tell you, we could hear the crowd on TV. Good crowd there for Jay's fans.
Very good crowd. I don't know exactly our number. I know we had over 600 at an alumni event, almost 700 at an alumni event today or yesterday. So it's there's plenty of Creighton people running around. I mean, I'm sure not all of them were there, so I'm going to say definitely excess of 1,000.
Oh yeah, we could hear them chanting NIT to Villanova pretty loudly.
That's what they made. Is their record good enough? Will they for sure make the NIT?
They're 500, aren't they? I think they are.
Okay. How about where do you move us off that 10 line, or are we still hanging there now?
10 line. Here, I'm going to tell you this. Yeah. I'll give you this hope. All right. So I have you at 6.
Yeah.
Most people have you.
Yeah.
However, I just have an inkling that I asked a question of somebody in the NCAA, okay, who's inside that room before the meeting started.
Yeah.
And the example he gave me was, well, like, let's say Creighton was a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, that kind of came off the top of his head rather quickly.
Yeah.
So I think there's a possibility we run the table here. 4 or definitely 5s in play.
Right. Yeah. And I see now, Kansas State got beaten. Will they be the other team that goes to Des Moines?
See, there's some debate there because the thing is they've got to make sure they have Thursday sites in both a Thursday and a Friday on those play-in games, which will probably be the 11s.
Yeah.
So those rotate to the 3s. So they got to be careful that they don't end up with all Thursdays or all Fridays, and that's kind of come up in the bracketing because there's so many teams that want to go to certain sites. The other question is, are they going to send both Baylor and Texas out to Denver? Or would they split them up and send one to Des Moines and one to Denver? That way Arizona could go to Denver, and then you would keep Gonzaga and UCLA out west. It would just work out better. And there's only like a 10-mile difference. So, it's kind of up in the air, really. If it is a 3 and we're a 6, obviously we could have a chance at Des Moines. But then, the committee's throwing in kind of a new wrinkle this year too that I didn't even realize until about a week or so ago, and that's they're trying to avoid second in the second round, they're trying to avoid matchups he had during the season. So
Okay.
they're moving some teams around because of that. I don't particularly agree with that. I think it takes them out of natural sites and regions
Right.
that they normally would go in. So I hope they
Right.
change that. But yeah,
Okay.
between you and Lutz texting me every half hour asking if he's gotten out of that play-in game yet.
Well, you tell Lutz to enjoy it, man. 2 years in a row is awesome.
I told him, I said, I think your conference would enjoy that play-in game because if you win, then
Yeah,
you get
it's a
another
little more
payday.
money. Yeah,
That's
it's a whole
right.
other
That's right.
share. Yep.
All right. So Xavier tomorrow. Look, they
Yep.
expend a lot of energy tonight coming back. I mean, they're down
Yep.
double digits late in that half. That takes a lot out of your team.
Yep.
But a little bit different. You don't have Fremantle this time to
Right. Yeah, we haven't seen
against.
them in a while. It's
Yeah.
they're still good. Hunter's a good player. I mean, they still got plenty of good players.
Right, but the dilemma always was: do we put Kalk on Fremantle or Kalk on Nunji? There's no dilemma now, right? And
Right.
plus, he's seeing a guy similar to Dixon that likes to shoot the three.
Yeah, and the biggest three in us and Xavier this year was made. That was the first one of the year, I think that Hunter made, right?
Yeah.
Over in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Coach. Well, I know you got a long night ahead of you.
Yep.
Getting ready for tomorrow.
Yep.
Thanks for joining in. Great job.
Thanks.
That's Coach's Corner with assistant coach Jeff Vanderloo. You can join the show too. Just see that email down below. Send us an email. We'll send you out the link. Just like Jerry did. Jerry's joining us live from New York City. How's it going, Jerry?
That's right. Definitely a late night out here. Well, it's actually Friday morning with Eastern Standard Time.
You got nothing to do tomorrow, Jerry.
That is correct.
You actually, though, Jerry, if it's a nice day, you should go over to Chelsea Pier and hit some golf balls.
Well, there's a simulator like right across the street from me. I went there Wednesday morning and hit some balls. So yeah.
Nice.
What
were your thoughts of the game?
Good solid game, good win for us. I thought we just had a great game defensively, especially in the first half. We took a lot of their stuff away. Dixon never got it going. I think Nova tried to come out in the second half and be pretty physical, and we kind of held our ground. They picked up 4 really quick fouls right at the start of the second half, and we had a good start out of halftime this time. I know it's been a trend of ours to kind of come out slow out of half. We pushed the lead from 9 to 12 to 18. So Nova tried to fight back. I think they cut it within 9 with about 5.5, 6 minutes to go. Made us a little bit nervous, but I think we had an alley oop to Kalk and an and one, and we kind of kept it at 12 and 14 points after that. Nova definitely didn't put up the white flag. That's for sure. They fought to the foul to the end. So
foul to the end is right. I said earlier I didn't know if they wanted to watch Kaluma do some more circus dunks or something or what, but
yeah.
While we were talking about this, we were talking about with Lou too, who was just on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could hear the crowd chanting NIT.
I didn't hear that.
Really? Oh, it came through pretty loud. Yeah,
I didn't. I was sitting kind of away from the Creighton end. I was sitting next to Nova fans. They were really cool. I mean, mutual respect for that program. I'm not talking any crap to Nova. They've won 2 or 3 national championships, been to Final Fours. We haven't been there yet. So, Nova suffered through some injuries this year too. I mean, I've got all respect for that program and how they do things. So, and their fans seem pretty cool out here. You're right about the UConn fans, man. Whoa, they're arrogant, man. Oh man. So I think they've already assumed they've got the Big East championship trophy already in their show, already headed to stores. So yeah. We were the other thing we were saying was Cam
Whitmore. He didn't get hardly any playing time in the second half.
No, he took some ill-advised 3-point shots, I thought. And I don't know if he was showing off for the NBA scouts happened to be there, but anytime he takes a long 3, I think that's Creighton's got to be happy with that. So yeah.
Because he was taking Schreier into the woodshed there early.
Yeah. He's got an NBA body, he just didn't seem to use it, so I'll take it. Yeah, he took some.
Something must have happened there because
I think he took some ill-advised threes. Yeah.
he played about 3 minutes there in the first half. He picked up a foul. Maybe his effort on defense wasn't the greatest,
Mm-hmm.
and he picked
No.
up a foul, and then he was on the bench and never played again.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about?
The rumor is he's
Go
going
ahead.
to be a lottery pick, so it may be his last go round at Nova or first.
Right. What are your thoughts on tomorrow with Xavier?
I kind of like our chance. To be honest, I sure wish DePaul would have hung on to one. They led that whole game. They shot, I think, 65% from the field for the game and still got beat. I think turnovers they had, maybe 18 turnovers or so. That hurt them. I think who was it? Their point guard number 2 got in foul trouble, and that really he was a different. I mean, he outplayed Baum today. When he had to go sit on the bench, that hurt him. But Xavier's not the best defensive team in the world.
No, they're not. They're not.
They have to outscore teams. They have to outscore DePaul tonight. So, they're going to let us. We're going to get some buckets. It should be an up and down game. I didn't think Baum really had a great game. He may have had some points in the second half. That game was there for DePaul to win. They just, couldn't close it out as usual. So
yeah. Was it? It looked like it was a very nice day there.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was not as windy as it's been. I got in Tuesday. It was pretty windy and breezy Tuesday and Wednesday. But yeah, today was fine. So I didn't make the first 2 games. Tickets were kind of high, and I had trouble buying tickets. So I just kind of watched the game from a sports bar. And
do they have? I heard. Are you supposed to get some snow there? Some big snow?
not that I've heard. Not that I've seen.
Oh, really? Tim
I don't-
Brando was mentioned something about
Well,
it.
I don't fly back till Monday, so yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm here for a while. So I know
Nice.
quite a few. Everybody comments on how Creighton travels well. Being so far away, and we definitely have more fans than Marquette. Obviously,
Really? Really?
yeah.
Okay.
I've
More
seen-
than Xavier?
Xavier's got I would say pretty equal to Xavier.
Okay.
So what I saw tonight, probably pretty equal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we could hear him. Well, get some sleep.
All right, should be interesting day tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got UConn, Marquette, and Creighton. 2 good. Should have 2 pretty entertaining good games. So Marquette.
And those games are earlier. It's a 5 o'clock local time tip, I think.
Okay, I have to look. I think it's 5:30. I have to look at my.
Yeah, I think it's an earlier tip than tonight.
Yeah,
tonight was
definitely a late
6:30
night. I
here.
don't think we tipped till like close to 10 o'clock. So
Right,
makes
because
for
that game ran so long. Yeah.
a long day. And we didn't.
Yep.
I don't think the first game got started on time. We showed up early, and I mean, we had they didn't let us into seats for a long time. We had to walk around the concourse. So
Really? Oh, that's
yeah, a lot of places to eat. A lot of vending places to eat in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, there is.
A lot of
That's a huge
bathrooms.
place, man.
It is a big place. So
Now, have you gone around? Did you go around the concourse and see all the pictures and stuff?
oh yeah, pretty cool. A lot of history.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
A lot of history in
Yeah.
that building for sure. A lot of history in that building. So
Yep.
yeah. So my first trip, I did. Obviously I want him to win tonight. If he makes tomorrow, and I think we got a good shot tomorrow.
Yep.
And then we play the almighty. We're probably. I think Marquette UConn is going to be interesting. So UConn, be interesting. Marquette didn't play their best today either. They were pretty fortunate to win. So
No. Well, I think the first 30 minutes, UConn could have beat anybody in the country today.
oh yeah,
They played outstanding. They made Providence look really bad.
yeah.
The last 10 minutes, though, that's the UConn we've seen once in a while this year.
Yeah, kind of fall apart a little bit, but that should be a good day of hoops tomorrow. So I'll be here.
All right, man.
All right,
Take
Tim.
it easy.
Thanks. Yep.
Barry Lampe reporting live from New York City. Who's unsung hero tonight?
That's a tough
Not everybody at once.
Well, I'm thinking. That's a tough
I'm
one.
gonna give it to Francisco Farabello because he hit a 3, and would people get off his rear end now?
He played really good defense tonight again.
Well, he does really good.
He usually
defense.
does.
Sometimes he gets overmatched because just size wise, but for the most part, he plays pretty good defense. He had that 1 turnover, which was pretty ugly. But somebody made the comment too, like his first 3, I thought he had a nice arc on the ball. I think his shot's too flat. He's got to just put a little more arc on it because his shot is right there. It's not like he's not that far off. Same with Art. Art's is a little flat once in a while too.
I was partial towards Mason just because he hit such a huge three in the second half. I think as Nova cut it to 9, he came down and just drilled a three.
He also passed up one earlier, which I was like, Mason,
Yeah.
that's your shot. It was in the corner. I was like, what are you doing, man? Yeah, we'll go with friend. Worst call of the night.
I don't
Pretty
have
good
any.
crew tonight. Pretty good
Yeah.
crew. Jerry, actually, who we just talked to, sat with Brian O'Connell the first night next to him. Who was reffing tonight. Nova seemed to have a problem with Kalkbrenner when he dove on the floor and got a ball. They thought he traveled. I don't know. I can never. It's hard when they dive on the floor for a loose ball and then they roll. Sometimes they call traveling, sometimes they don't. I'll tell you one thing I saw today in all games across the country, over a half dozen times. Saw it tonight again. Guys drive to the hole, they just fall down, and the ref blows the whistle. And like it's not on the primary defender. They blow the whistle on some other guy that they think tripped him, who was nowhere near him. And that happened tonight too. With Nova, drove to the hole and they called on Sherman. Sherman wasn't near the guy. It was like, what the hell? But I saw this all day long. Guys falling down, blow the whistle. I don't know. Do you guys remember any bad call? I didn't really remember much.
No, I don't think there was much. Maybe now that you're saying that, maybe the one late in the shot clock that Shireman got called for the trip. But
yeah,
I thought all in all it was pretty good called game.
I think they're letting them play a little bit in the Big East, which is good too.
That UConn Providence game was something else as far as
especially late. They really swallowed the whistles late.
Man, when a shot went up, it was just a bloodbath.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah. Utah State's got a kid named Taylor Funk.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's really good. I've seen him play several times.
Penn State has a Funk as well, don't they?
Do they really? I
I
don't know
think
that.
so.
By the way, I should point out that Nebraska lost to Minnesota in the Big Ten tournament. Minnesota, the worst team in the Big Ten.
Did see that.
So, Nebraska fans, it does happen. You can lose to a team that's worse than you once in a while. That does happen. But I think they can still get the NIT with a 500 record. Am I not correct?
I believe so.
I think you have to be 500.
Yeah.
You don't have to be above 500. Because I was taking a Nova. Nova's in. They're 17-16. So they'll get an NIT bid. Well, if they want, they don't have to accept it. They'd be nuts if they didn't let Nebraska in because they'll sell out that place every game. I mean, that's a lot of money for the NIT.
Yeah. Which could be a deciding factor.
And then St. John's should get in. They're like 18-12 or something.
Yeah, I think St. John's is a sure thing. Seton Hall as well.
Yeah, Seton Hall. Although Seton Hall, I think, had dropped below 500 at one point.
It's always interesting to hear the kind of final game comments, where Seton Hall.
Oh, they're 17-15 there. Okay, go ahead.
St. John's and Mike Anderson were like, yeah, NIT, let's go. And then I saw stuff when Carolina lost, and it was, pretty somber. If they don't make the NCAA tournament, they didn't sound too enthusiastic about going to the NIT. So it's always interesting to hear different teams' perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of changed now. Like it used to be, you'd want to go to the NIT because you got all these extra practices. And if you had a young team, I know that happened with Minnesota one time. That's happened with Creighton. Creighton's had some, younger teams. They've got extra, and then the next year you make a nice leap.
Yep, Marcus Sekansky.
But with this transfer portal now, it's kind of all out the window, right? I mean,
agree.
You don't know how many guys you're going to have on your team. Yeah, it's probably beneath North Carolina to go to the NIT, but it is what it is. So what about the coaching? To Bill Self sounds like he's out for the whole Big 12 tournament. They
And
had to
you
come out. Some guy
and we have
posted he had a heart attack. So, some guy posted he had a heart attack, and then the Kansas had to come out and say there are media reports he had a heart attack. He didn't have a heart attack. It was a normal procedure. Well, okay, you're probably not going to schedule a normal procedure the night before the Big 12 tournament.
That makes me think it was like
So
appendicitis or something like that.
right, or gallbladder or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it could be they put a stent in. Maybe he didn't have a heart attack. You don't know. I'm just saying it was probably more serious than they let on. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about Patrick Ewing. My bracketology buddies are saying they're seeing all over the place rumors about Ed Cooley going to Georgetown. I just can't believe that.
Well,
that would be the most horrible coaching move of all time.
In fairness, Georgetown does, like, we've talked about it before, at least you've talked about it before, how Georgetown kind of likes to keep it in the family as far as head coaching hires. And they would be doing that because Ed Cooley has won a lot of games at Georgetown.
The only time
one,
I've seen that brought up was the field of 68 guys, Goodman and Rob Doster and stuff have brought that up. But man, that like in the conference thing or even as far out as I know you guys have seen this before on message boards where Mac to Nebraska. I mean that takes like extra you know what I'm saying? Like that's some extra cojones to do that. It's hard to envision.
Mac would never go to Nebraska. He ain't going there. Mac's only going to coach a couple more years. He's going to retire. I mean, it's not. Mac's going nowhere. Okay.
No.
The other thing is the with Ed Cooley, like we had our good buddy Ron Bailey on from Rivals on a couple weeks ago, and he said, and I've heard this many times. They're really like close, and they try and keep everything very secretive that goes on there within the basketball program. And it's always been this way. And they now have a new AD who wants to kind of bust out of that, but the president doesn't want that to happen. They want to keep this all. So it doesn't sound like a very good situation. And I don't think they have a very good NIL situation there. So why in God's name would you give up what you have in Providence? You're from Providence and go to Georgetown. That just makes no sense to me. Like, Mike Bray has some connections to the DC area, and he said he really would still like to coach. So that makes sense to me. Okay. He's a Krzyzewski guy. That makes sense to me. Maybe some young guy that wants to go in there and start it up. But Cooley makes zero sense. And here's the other thing about Cooley. Let's say Cooley is entertaining thoughts about going. Now, my bracketology guys go, well, that would explain why they tank so bad at the end of the year. You're right, I guess. But here's the other thing with Cooley. Let's say he was entertaining it. They've offered him a boatload of money. He's going, yeah, I'd really like to coach at Georgetown. Well, who's his best friend in coaching? Mac. They're certainly going to talk. And I can't believe that Mac would go, Ed, what are you doing, man? This makes no sense. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. It seems like pure insanity to me to do what in essence would be take a worse job for probably comparable money in a worse situation in the same conference. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Jeremy,
what about
your thoughts?
What about some of the unknowns? I mean, at least me personally, I'm not privy to, things like NIL budget or athletic budget, in totality. So you're right. I mean, on the surface, I don't think we're missing anything. It's like, you go from a top 5 Big East team to, team that struggled to win a couple games in over multiple seasons. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but maybe there's something we're missing there where it's just more than the prestige of Georgetown, which is the one thing that I would give the nod to. I think most people would give the nod to over Providence is the history of the school. But other than that, unless there's something we're missing that we're not privy to, it's tough to envision.
Yeah, I mean, history. I get that a little bit, but the other thing is, unless you win, nobody goes to those games. Nobody goes to those games because the arena is downtown. People don't. Nobody goes to those games. There's nobody there, and you'd have to, man. Oh God, that'd be a big rebuilding project. I mean, obviously nowadays with transfer, you can build up a roster pretty quick and have a pretty decent team. But I mean, there's more to it than that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just maybe he wants, if he wants to, fine.
Hey, Tim, going back, sorry, changing things a little bit, but going back to Providence and them struggling down the stretch.
Yeah.
As a bracketologist, where can you kind of go?
I gotta tell you, the guys on my mock selection committee, they hammered them hard. They had them 11, and they were like, they actually should be in the playing game. I'm like, hold on, guys. I mean, they've won 20 games, plus they've beaten 3 top-notch opponents. Their argument was, well, they didn't win any games away from home, of note. And I go, okay, I get you there. But when you compare their resumes to some of these guys on the bubble, but now they've laid another egg. I think they're going to be probably 11. So where they're going to land. Them and Pittsburgh seem to be lumped together as two teams who both won 20 games, but they're really not as good as their record is. And my God, you look at that Providence lineup, that would be a dangerous 11 seed. Yeah, but at any rate. Well, okay, let's wrap it up, guys. Thanks, Jeremy, for joining. Oh, one more thing. So, recruiting. So, when is Mr. Flowers going to announce his school?
Trenton Flowers, for depending on what recruiting service you look at, 4 to 5-star kid, top 20 to 30 kid in the 2024 class. So still a couple years away supposedly, but they're, again, today there's always the talk, it seems like, of reclassification. So, but as of now, a 2024 kid, so a couple years away. He's supposed to announce next Friday between schools, Creighton, Arkansas, Alabama, North Carolina, Kansas, and Louisville. I think he has a final list of 6 is his final list.
What is your hunch?
Well, all the talk seems to be Creighton and Louisville. And a lot of it has to do with the visits, where he's taken both official and unofficial visits to Creighton and Louisville. Most recently, Creighton, he was there for the pink out game. It was anyone's there at the pink out game. That was a great atmosphere and a great selling point. Main recruiter is Coach Jalen Courtney Williams. And so, most that we've seen, it's kind of between those two schools, and each fan can make their case for those schools. I know, people would ask why the heck would you go to Louisville after the season they had, but from everything I've heard, it's still a strong NIL game. Louisville's still a good program, even though they've had a down year. It's still a historic program.
Good fan base,
Yep, good fan base and good game day environment and all that stuff. So, nothing 100% that I've seen that he's made up his decision. Even he said in some interviews that he's still deciding on where he's going. But like I said, the most that we've seen is it probably comes down to Creighton or Louisville.
is the fact that he all of a sudden, because wasn't he going to wait?
Um, he's kind of talked about deciding, relatively soon, but with him being a couple years away, I don't think it was ever like in cement when he was going to decide until recently. He could have gone through the summer process. I think he's playing with team CP3. It's a Nike team, his AAU team that he's hooking up with this year. He's went to high school in North Carolina at Combine Academy. I've seen both. That he would wait, and then he's given interviews where he may decide, soon as of now, where he would go in a few years.
Right. All right. Well, I just wonder if it was a tip, like he went and visited Louisville, and he goes, "I'm going to decide next Friday."
Yeah,
Kind of,
nothing. Yeah, nothing like that. I think the most recent visit was Creighton. He was supposed to go to Arkansas last weekend, on an unofficial visit, and didn't make it there. And so, yeah, like I said on the message board, I think a lot of the signs, if you look at who he's visited and contacted or in contact with the most, would make you seem to believe Creighton has a pretty good shot. But
yeah.
if you followed recruiting for even a little bit, you just kind of expect the unexpected type.
Right. Well, that intel I was going to get for you, I still haven't been able to connect because they're just a little bit busy. So, but
Yeah.
we will early next week. But all right, Jeremy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you, Zach. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow night right after the game.